Okay, welcome to the Flight of the Knicks podcast.
Thank you.
Yay! With Emma Rolston and Dean and me. Whoop! It's been. Hey, Dean, do you want to jump in with the first question?
Yeah. First question. Good morning. Well, it actually is sort of the name Roller. Does it annoy you when sort of complete strangers come up to you and sort of talk to you as Roller? Is it a nickname that has to be earned and people have to earn it to call you that? Or is it like public domain? Can anyone just call you
Nah,
Roller?
it's kind of public domain now. I feel like I get called Rolo so often now that I have to wait when somebody calls me Emma. I have to wait until they say it twice before I'll kind of like recognize they're talking to me. So no, it's public domain. I don't mind when people talk to me or call me Rolo. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we'll continue that for the rest of the interview then.
Yeah.
Roller, your game on Saturday against Sydney FC, probably the best I've seen you in a Knicks shirt. How did you celebrate after that win?
We actually went and got gelato. We went to Messina and got gelato after that. We kind of came back. The team was so hyped in the changing rooms, on the field, everything like that. I think the win meant so much to us, and it was kind of like we wanted to celebrate as a team. We wanted to kind of do something together. Everybody was exhausted and shattered after the game, and so we just kind of went for a walk, got some gelato, chilled out a bit, and hung out as a team. Yeah.
It's sort of a tradition in Australia that when you win, most teams have a victory song. Is there do the Phoenix women have a victory song?
We don't actually. I was just thinking about that in the changing room. We don't have a victory song. I think there are some songs though I've noticed that the girls all know that were brought in from last year, especially like when we're about to go out on the field and everything like that. Like they do have songs that they have, but we don't have a victory song. I don't think so. Maybe I'm not the one to ask. Maybe one of the other girls know that we're in the team.
Something for the future. I'm hoping you get the opportunity this season to sing it at least 3 more times.
Or yeah, absolutely.
Think about making one.
Well, we've got 4 games, so maybe 4 more times.
Yeah, let us know if you get one. We'll play it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you know.
Cool. Love to know a little bit more about that match in Sydney. I mean, what went right from your perspective? And
yeah, I don't know. I guess I felt like we came into it. The girls, I mean, we're coming towards the end of the season and people are just kind of getting exhausted. And I think it was a week where we could slow things down a little bit in training, still have intense trainings when we're on the field, but knowing how to load us and do everything like that. And then coming into the game, I think the girls, we thought we've got nothing to lose. We're coming into this and we can go firing. Nobody expects us to win. I think we have the belief in ourselves that we can win. And I think that's really important. As soon as you lose that belief in yourself or your team, that's when things start to go wrong. And I think we just came out there with, I guess, a different team to what we have played with previously and people in different positions. And I think that really helped us to connect with each other on the field. A lot of us have played together before, so I think that also helps. Just knowing and understanding the movements or what they're good at and what we can help with. And so I think that was really, really beneficial going into that game. And we just came out firing. It was hot. It was probably one of the hottest games for us, I think, coming from back in New Zealand where it's just started to get a lot colder as well, and we were thrown into 30-degree heat and 70 something % humidity. And I think in the first half it was really, really difficult for a lot of us, but we pulled through. We scored a goal. I think it's all about getting that goal and holding on, and everybody just seemed to connect on that field at the right times, and we created so many opportunities and it just all came together.
It was amazing how much in my eyes at least, how much you dominated. The top of the league team. It was just
that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like we dominated. We had control of the game. We were controlling the tempo. Felt like we had more opportunities than them, that we were creating these goal scoring opportunities. We were retaining possession and creating passes, and I think that's like really important, and it just shows like what the team is capable of. I think finding our feet, we need to do that obviously a lot earlier in the season, but now that we have, I hope that can continue for the next 4 games.
Did watching when Brie made that save, it was about 40 minutes, the looping thing she tipped over the bar. I felt that kind of inspired us all. But did pick up on that? Did you feel that you got a bit of inspiration
Yeah.
and go forward for that?
Yeah, I think as soon as somebody does something like that, something extraordinary, something like a big tackle or save like that, it inspires, I think, and kind of lifts the rest of the team up, and we can use that to energize ourselves. And I think that's kind of what happened with Bree. Yeah.
We got the game against Perth this weekend. Obviously, the
Wait,
bad thing
hold on,
happened.
I want to drill down more. So what was it like? Like, what kinds of things do you talk about in hydration breaks and at halftime and things like what are you focusing on?
At hydration breaks, we're mostly talking about what do we need to change. If there's anything we need to change, what can we keep going the right way? Like, where can we exploit some spaces? What can we do basically? Is there anything that we need to change? So that's what a lot of that is about. It's just a quick chat, maybe like 20-30 seconds. It's like everything's going good, make sure you keep doing that, like control the game, like, or do something like that. It's just a quick comment. And then halftime, we come in and we talk as a group, as players, and just think about like what's going right and what's going wrong. What can we do in the second half coming in? And then the coaches will come in as well, and then we'll kind of talk with them about it and their observations, watch some video, and kind of go from there again. Just get some food and get some water in, cool down. Yeah.
Okay, so a bit of tactics, a bit of rest. Yeah. All right, bring it, Dean.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So you've got the game against Perth this weekend. Obviously, the bad thing happened last game. Is there sort of like, is that behind you? It's not like there's going to be any kind of tension or anything like that with Ella on the field.
Yeah. Well, absolutely not from my heart. On my behalf, I think I'm coming into this game as it's a fresh game. You know, I don't think it's kind of good to carry anything from the last game or anything from previous games. It's a fresh game. It's a new team. It's playing. You're playing for the points, and I'm not coming in with any grudges or anything like that. I'm just coming in and trying to do the job for my team and focus on what the team's going to do. We want to win at home, and that's my main focus. So I'm not coming in kind of thinking about that. I don't want to have that worry or stress on my mind if something is going to happen or if she's going to come in like that. As something that I can't control what she's going to do. I can only control what I can do. So I'm going to come in with like a fresh mind and be focused on the game and not on her or the previous incident.
Excellent. You probably heard the news this morning about the Auckland license in a year or two, and Auckland having a women's team. You're born in Wellington, according to Wikipedia. Could you ever see yourself playing for an Auckland team, or would you?
I was born in Auckland, actually.
Oh yeah, Wikipedia is so wrong.
Yeah, so I was born in Auckland. I moved down south to the South Island for 3 years and then moved to Wellington. So I spent majority of my years in Wellington until I was 17, and then moved back up to Auckland and overseas and everything like that. But yeah, I could definitely see myself playing for Auckland. I think it's the team. I mean, I think that's been in the pipelines for a long time, having an Auckland team, and I think it would be great for the country. Especially getting another men's team, another women's team in there, and trying to have another pathway and develop the skills within our own country, and being able to have that professional pathway, I think. But yeah, I definitely think I could see myself playing for Auckland if the opportunity arises, and that just happens to be where I am at that point in time. Then yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah, as you say, it's a great opportunity, an expanded opportunity for New Zealand football. So it's great to see.
Yeah, awesome.
Denise.
Well, I mean, let's get a little bit more into like who you are and like how you became the footballer you are. I mean, in talking about like little girls having like now a team in Wellington and a team in Auckland, just that's like inspiring. Like most New Zealanders had a very different path to, becoming the football fern you are. Tell us about your journey. I mean, you mentioned it a bit, but just how did you become who you are?
Yeah, I guess I started playing football in Wellington when I was 6. Whole bunch of us at school just decided we were going to go home and ask our parents, and we all joined a local club in Whitby, which was Western Suburbs, and I played with the boys. I was the only girl in the team. Back then there were no girls teams either. It was just kind of mixed and stuff. So I was the only girl on the team for the next 10 years or so. And I played with a lot of my friends the whole way through in JPL. and we did really, really well. It was great. I loved training with the boys. I think like growing up with them and being able to develop as they develop as well, and the quicker speed of the game as you get older, and just the quicker decisions and everything like that. I think that really helped me become who I am in terms of like technical ability and everything like that. And then after that, I moved into the women's side with Karori and played there for quite a few years. And that's when we had like federation with Wellington and everything like that. So that's when all that kind of Wellington regional stuff kind of happened. Then I made the 17s team, I guess, when I was 14, and I did that that was like my first introduction into New Zealand football and under 17s and all that kind of stuff. And we had a few overseas tours. And then with my under 20s, I could do 2 under 20 rounds because I was 17 for the first one. So moving into that, we had to move to Auckland, and that's when I moved for my last year of school and went to Takapuna Grammar, and that's when I was kind of based in Auckland. I had to finish my last year of school, stayed with some friends out there who also was in the team, and just kind of got involved in that. Then went to the next under 20s as well, but during that time I kind of had my back injury, and from there had multiple injuries continuing. But yeah, was based in Auckland for a bit, moved to Aussie when I was 20 and played for Sydney FC that year, and that was kind of my first introduction into professional football. At that point there was no Phoenix, there was no professional pathway through New Zealand, and I kind of wanted to get out and do that. I did look at America as well, but it wasn't something that I was completely set on. So yeah, moving towards Aussie and doing that, and then it kind of went from there to Germany and then to Norway and then kind of back here for now, where I'll look to hopefully go back overseas after the World Cup. But yeah, back with the Phoenix now, back in Wellington after 9 years, and playing here has been really cool, and being back with like my friends and family and being able to just see them all the time has been amazing. But yeah, that's kind of my football journey till now.
Are there any like people that stick out that you were like you'd want to give a high five or a shout out to right now?
There's one. So I actually got involved first with like reps and all that kind of stuff when I was 10 or 11.
Reps?
And yeah, just down at like representation. It's like for your kind of
okay,
suburb area region.
Okay.
And it was Mick Waite. So I'm pretty sure he used to coach the All Whites at one point, but he was like a family friend, and we saw him at the supermarket, and he was like, "Oh, you're coming down to trials like the next day or the day after?" And we were like, "Oh, we don't know about it." And he's like, "Yeah, just come down," because it was for an older age group. So I always played after that, ended up playing with the girls that were 2 years older than me, because that's kind of the rep team that I made and moved forward, and that's kind of where I guess I kept making more steps. So I made the Wellington region team, and then I got invited to a under 15 New Zealand camp that was held at St. Peter's, and I was 11 years old, and I was the youngest by like the next oldest was 13, and that was CJ Bott, who's in the Ferns as well, one of my good friends. So like I was so young at this point, going into like a New Zealand scene when I was 11 years old, and that kind of just like carried on from there. But yeah, I do remember that happening, and that kind of being like a point where everything started kicking off.
Nice. Dean?
Taking you back to perhaps Whitby and 6, what's your first ever football memory?
I think there was a game, and I can't remember, we must have been like 6 or 7 years old, and we were absolutely thrashing this team. I think I scored like 11 goals, and the guy just got the keeper. They just didn't want to play anymore. Like the team didn't want to play anymore, and that was kind of like my main memory of like the first game. And so we didn't finish the game. It was like kind of all over from there. But yeah, that one, and just going. We used to go to Taupo tournaments all the time. They were like once a year in Taupo, and our team would go every year, and they were just so much fun. Yeah.
That's where I sit, is in
yeah.
That's where I live. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah.
And go ahead, Dean. Bring it.
Okay, well, just going on from the first memory, what's your most joyful football memory?
Oh, That's a hard one. I feel like there's just been so many different memories for different reasons that have been so joyful. But I think probably being at the Olympic Games, honestly, like it was just such a high to be there. Unfortunately, I got knocked out in our pre-match game just before we got there. Well, before we reached the actual Olympics, against Great Britain, so I didn't get to play the first two games. But being able to play and start in that third game against Sweden, that's like one of my most cherished memories. I think going to the Olympic Games is such a special thing, and being able to call myself an Olympian and anything like that is incredible, and I'm thankful. I want to be a two-time Olympian, so yeah, I guess that's my goal moving forward as well.
I would like tattoo that on my forehead,
Yeah.
like Janine Van Vyk has like Olympic. I don't even have a tattoo, but if I did that,
yeah.
Congratulations. So what's it like playing overseas? I mean, there's a chunk of you that we could really not see. I mean, one of the biggest frustrating things about women's football is, being able to see matches. You were in Norway, you were a bit in Germany, you were in Norway. I mean, what was that like? And why do you want to go back?
Yeah, I think being overseas is definitely tricky. You're moving like more often than not, you're moving to another country that speaks another language, and you don't know it. You don't know it. And so that is definitely difficult, moving over with the language barrier and trying to adjust to that. And especially if you're by yourself and not with other international players who speak English. So that can be a challenge, I think, trying to integrate into a new culture, new team. Like it's already difficult to go into a new team when you're just one person. So I think like going over there is difficult, but to play in great leagues and to do that, that is what you have to do. You have to be willing to sacrifice and move over and play in these countries who have great leagues. And that's kind of where I started with. They can be happy times, there can be sad times. It's definitely hard not being able to see friends and family for that long. But then there's the other side of it where you meet so many new people and make so many new friends around the world as well. So I think that's a really, really cool part about it. I guess for me, wanting to go back overseas, a lot of my career thus far has been with a lot of injuries with my back. And it's been like really frustrating not being able to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And my back's starting to progress and get better now. And I would love to have like a few more years. I guess a career in football is limited, but I want to have a few more years overseas playing in these leagues if I can, and if teams are willing to take me on. And yeah, I guess I just want to challenge myself. I want to play against the best players in the world. I want to be able to score. I want to be in these leagues. So I think that's partly why I feel like I've got a little bit of unfinished business, I guess. Yeah.
You mentioned injuries. Who do you turn to when things fall apart a bit?
Yeah, I don't know. It's really, really difficult. I think like obviously speak to my partner. He's been great. He's always really, really helpful with my injuries. I've got a team now from like the Phoenix and the Ferns as well, who are working in conjunction with one another, and we have we're on the same plan, we're on the same kind of thing. So I've got so many touch points now that I can go to in both environments. So that I think having that support around me now has made things with my back a lot better. I think it's so difficult. I've been in situations with my injuries over the years where there's been no support at all, and it's been really, really difficult because there's nobody to talk to or to kind of help me out, or I feel like I'm not being heard or listened to, and you can't make any progress, or there's no plan. So I think the environment I'm in now has been so much better, and it's been amazing being able to, like, with my family here again and my partner as well, living with him. Like, it's just been, I think, easier to go through a process of injury when you're with those kinds of people.
Dean?
Yeah. The facilities in NZCIS look pretty amazing. Have they helped with your back recovery? I've seen like the pools and the bars and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, they're incredible. They're probably the best facilities I've had in any league that I've played in. They are genuinely incredible facilities. They've definitely been helpful. I go in a couple times a week and get physio. I go in and do some yoga with a lady and one of the guys from the guys team. I've been using the pools. The hot pool really helps me. just heat on my back, so that's been good. We've got the sauna there as well, which has been amazing. My back doesn't react so well to cold, like my nerve pain doesn't react as well to cold. So everything else though has been like incredible. I can go into the gym is incredible. So for my rehab, that's been so good to get in there and be able to train and progress my weight now and be able to lift weight, which I couldn't do a couple months ago, you know. So also being able to get in that cardio, like on the machines that they've got, the assault bike, or they've got the indoor turf where you can do some running and stuff. So it's, the facilities are incredible, and I believe that they've definitely helped me.
Awesome.
I mean, on those facilities, are you gonna, like, Sweden has them?
I know. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I actually think it gives them a distinct advantage in preparation. Makes me, you know, kind of. I mean, are the Ferns going to be able to get in there, or is it just all Sweden?
I think it's just Sweden. I'm not entirely sure. So we're going to be based in Auckland. I know that, but when we've got our Wellington game, I'm not entirely sure if we have access to that yet. I think that's something that they're figuring out at the moment. But yeah, that is, like, Sweden are incredibly lucky, I think, to have that as their, like, that's the best facility in New Zealand, hands down. So yeah.
I know. I'm yes, they very, very lucky. Good on them for getting that and securing that. Let's talk a bit about the Ferns. Dean, do you have something?
Yeah, look, obviously, well, you're a striker, and I'm guessing that's your preferred position. But if you said, look, we need to go goalkeeper for this match, you know, is it? I mean, tell us. I'm guessing striker is your preferred position. Is what you do.
Yeah, striker or attacking mid. Yeah, one of those two, 10 or 9. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if she said go goalkeeper, I'll go goalkeeper. You know,
exactly.
Like, if you have to step up, I want to be on that field, and if that's the case, then yeah, absolutely.
If it was the only way to get a Fern on, then you'd do it, wouldn't you?
Yeah. That actually happened during the playoff tournament. I can't remember what team.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of the South American teams.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Field player.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, someone got sent off.
It was like the last.
That's insane.
5 minutes of the match, please. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But it was crazy.
Was it Argentina?
I don't want to get it wrong.
Okay, yeah.
It was incredible though, and they did it. The goalkeeper had to make some pretty basic saves, but they made
them. I mean, fortunately, they had a little bit of coordination then.
I mean, ballers. I mean, using their hands.
Yeah.
Well, Charlotte Lancaster was that close to being goalkeeper last season. So.
Yeah, I heard they had to cut her up. Get numbers on the back, name.
So tell us about what you know about what's coming in April for the Ferns.
In April, there's a tour overseas. So I think that's going to be announced soon. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go on that. Just my back. Yeah, I just need to get a little bit of consistency with making sure it's right and that it's not going to fall back into having an episode or anything like that. So just giving that a little bit more time. But yeah, we've got a Ferns tour coming up, which will be the last tour before the World Cup, which is the most important thing and what I'm working towards now. So that's coming up, and then we'll have a camp in Auckland for all of the domestic based players. So kind of all of the A-League players that are based in Aussie and New Zealand to still have a training environment for May and June, while everybody else is still overseas. And I think that's going to be really, really beneficial because we need a training environment. I don't think it can be out considering we're going into a World Cup. So we'll have camp up in Auckland, and I think that will be really, really good for us as well.
How do I ask this? What do you want us to know about the Football Ferns as fans?
I don't know. I think it's just like, we just love the support. I think it's really important to have that support, especially going into a World Cup, and to kind of realize like the magnitude of what this tournament is. It's one of the biggest events in the world, and it's on our front doorstep, and I think that's incredible. I think it's easy for people to dismiss us or kind of look at our results and say they're not good, they don't do this, they don't do that, and it's easy to judge from afar, but it is actually an incredible sacrifice, the things that these girls and we do. It's a 24/7 job, it's making sure that everything's going right, and we have a plan from the coaches that we're following, and we have to do, I guess, the best that we can from there. But there's also the accountability on our end to do what we need to do to make sure we're prepared. And I think leading into this World Cup, it would be incredible to just have that backing and support regardless, and know, I think that can help push us and be a 1%er and making us better, having that support and being there. And I think the girls will turn it on. The girls know how much this means to all of us, and having the opportunity to play at home for a World Cup is incredible. And I think that's going to be something that's going to drive us in this World Cup. We know we can get out of this pool. It's just about getting those results and making sure we're all doing the right things to make sure we're there.
Yeah, New Zealand is, it's really, I was at the USA, I was at both the USA matches. And it was incredible. Once as a fan, once as a reporter, and it was incredible. Anytime like anything good would happen, and particularly in Auckland, like they would just go. It's like you just beat Crystal Dunn, and I'm hoping that will obviously continue, and I think it will. I mean, you had a rough spell with this 3-game series again. You all had different agendas. These teams were really trying to get into the World Cup, and you were trying to gel.
That's it. That's exactly it. And I think like that was also a new formation that the girls hadn't played as well. And I think you have to kind of look at that and whether that was, I guess, the right thing to do at that point in time. So it's I think it's just there were different agendas from different teams there, and we didn't fulfill our agenda anyway. So it's like making sure. I guess there were some positives that came out of there as well, but it's just. It's better for that to have happened now than closer to the World Cup or in the World Cup. So, is what it is. And the only thing you can do is like move forward and focus on other things that you can do in this next tour.
Speaking of World Cup, your first match is against Norway. Yes. I mean, you would know a thing or two. I mean, are you have a translation guide for your?
No.
I mean, you must know.
I mean, I know a little bit. Norway is such a tricky language, honestly. Like sometimes I'm not even sure when a word starts or ends. It's just all in one. But I definitely know some words. And we'll be helping the girls. There's quite a few. Like the girls in our team. It's funny how small the football community actually is, and who's played together and who hasn't. Somebody always knows somebody. So I think there's quite a few girls that know girls in the team. I think it's going to be a great match. I think we're pretty evenly, in terms of we're evenly matched, So I think it's going to be a great game, and having it at home, and it's the first World Cup, we're going to be coming out with like a vengeance to try and to get those 3 points. So I think it's going to be an amazing, incredible game. Yeah,
it's going to be amazing. It's going to be a very proud moment for New Zealanders to open up a Women's World Cup where 1 billion people watched the last World Cup.
It's going to be massive. It'll be massive. No, for sure.
So I think we'll just wind it down with some fun stuff.
Yeah, easy.
You want me to start, Dean? I mean, this is like
we forgot
kind of serious, but then it devolves into just madness. Who are you cheering for right now? If you had like someone that you're a fan of, or you're just like proud of, or you're just wanting to do better, or just feeling for, is there anyone that comes to mind?
I'm always rooting for my best mate, for CJ. Like always rooting for her to do well. I hope that these injuries come right for her and everything like that. She's an incredible player, one of the hardest workers that I know, and she brings a lot to the game. So I'm always rooting for her. Yeah.
Awesome.
Don't forget to ask the 3 words, Denise, as well, to describe.
Well, why don't we do it right now? How did I miss that?
Oh no.
We have a signature question at the Flight of the Nicks. And describe yourself as a footballer in 3 words.
Creative. Oh no. Selfless and technical. What's that? Yeah.
Cool. I buy those.
You were overseas for 9 years, as you say. Coming back to New Zealand, what's your favorite place in New Zealand?
That's hard. It's hard because I love places like I love coming back to Wellington purely because my family is here. In terms of like, I also love going down to Queenstown because it is the most beautiful place like in our country. And I love going down there and the fun that I have with my partner and other people. But then I'm a summer girl. I love the heat, so I also love the Coromandel. So it's really, really hard or the Mount, So kind of have some like core places that I always go to that I think are my favorites.
3 equal. Another question. In New Zealand, if you could play for any team, irrespective of sport or gender or anything like that, and you could just say, yeah, I can play for that team, what team would that be?
I reckon the Black Ferns. I think they're an incredible team who works so hard. The culture just seems so fun and so professional. Yeah, like there's always they're always laughing. They're always having a good time. That's what you see from them. They've won so many things. They've achieved so many things. I don't think they quite get the recognition that they deserve. We've had a few of them come into our environment and just chat with them, and they're so down to earth and easy to get along with, and just like good people. So yeah, probably the Black Ferns. Yeah.
So it used to be the All Blacks for me, but maybe the Black Ferns, if I could get one.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Do you have like a favorite like sports team shirt?
No, I don't.
Yeah?
I don't. No.
Just wondering. Any of the jerseys you kept, or like what do you call them, slicks or kits?
Yeah. I've kept my jerseys. I've kept a few when I was younger, 17s, when we did like shirt swaps and stuff. Same in 20s, got a few of those around. But yeah, I usually keep my jerseys or pass them to people who are important to me. Like if somebody asks for ones, or sometimes I'll give them away to fans as well. Yeah.
It's nice.
Who's the most, I mean, if you've done a swap in an international or something like that, is there one that you really treasure that you perhaps have on your wall?
I've never done it in international, like in terms of ferns. So I think that would be probably a little bit more special if I was able to do one there. But I haven't swapped with anyone yet. Maybe at this World Cup, I'll swap with somebody and get a goodie.
All right, similar question, but not. If you had to raid a teammate's closet, and I'll let you go Ferns or Phoenix,
Oh no.
who would you raid?
Okay, give me 1 sec.
I feel like someone said yours once.
Yeah, it was probably CJ. He's got good fashion. I mean, CJ has pretty good fashion. Like low key, she's more of a minimalistic girl. I would say. Oh no, I don't know. I'm stuck. I guess CJ. I would probably go her. Yeah.
All right, CJ. Cool. You got another one, or you want me to just keep firing them?
Yeah, no, you keep going.
Yeah. Okay. So there's the old stranded island question. Which teammate would you want to be on a stranded island with?
I'd go CJ.
Okay.
Only because like it would probably just do the dumbest things and have fun until we die or get saved.
All right. Well, this might be CJ again. Which teammate would you call if you needed to be bailed out?
Yeah, probably
CJ. All right, Dean.
And which teammate would be responsible for you getting into jail in the first place? I imagine it's CJ.
But yeah, probably. Again? Maybe Aaron. Probably Aaron. Honestly, Aaron Naylor. That would be her. But it would be something that she doesn't even know. She'd be like, "Oh, what?" Like,
didn't even know that was illegal.
Yeah.
Cool. Dean?
I think we're pretty much. Oh no, yeah. Okay. You spent some time in Scandinavia. I think we're coming to the last of the questions now. But yeah, what was the oddest thing that you found in Scandinavia that stood out to you as that's a bit weird?
Some of the food they ate, like, just did not. I can't even explain what it was. It was just like these big meatballs or something, some kind of meat that is like the size of it, like honestly, like this big, and they were in this. I don't even know what they were. I didn't eat it. There was no way. It looked awful. That, and I think just seeing people they ski on the roads when there's no snow. So they have like these skis that are on wheels, and they do like speed skiing, I guess, like on the roads. That was odd to me to see. Obviously never seen it. We don't do that here, but that was pretty great. Yeah. Yeah. One of those.
Yeah, I grew up in Vermont, so all those weird
see it all the time.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us. I mean, we're fans of you, fans of the team, and really hope you do well in your upcoming matches.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Just stick around just after we end the recording, because I got a couple of questions.
Yeah. No worries.
Thanks everyone for joining us today, and go next. Woohoo! See you next time.
Thanks very much, Rollo, for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.